All right, everybody. Welcome back to, I believe this is week 19. My buddy, my good friend, Kyle Brooks on the mic today. Kyle, you got anything to say?
Hey, how we doing?
We're doing absolutely wonderful
Doing well.
tonight. It is around, I don't know, 11:40, 12.
It is midnight.
12, it is midnight here in Pittsburgh, people. We went to the Pirates game tonight. The Pirates did not score a single run.
Not one.
Not a single run. No home run. We had one home run. Wilyer Abreu hit a massive home run in the third inning off of Jared Jones, and that held until about the eighth when Luke Weaver got exploded.
I hate him.
Yeah, yeah. It got a Reds history. I did not know about this. I was informed of the Reds history behind Luke Weaver, but yeah. For those who don't know, Kyle's a big Reds fan, so I get to hear about little trinkets like that,
Yes.
little nuggets of knowledge. But yeah, no, PNC was sick. It was great. I've enjoyed the weekend a lot. But yeah, anything to say on the game, Kyle, before we sort of get rolling?
No, I mean it's a great night for baseball, and
Was
especially if you're a Red Sox fan, making the trip down to
This-
PNC for your every other year series here in
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. So it was packed. It was great. It was great energy, and then the Pirates, especially right before the deadline, they started falling apart, and they made some what I thought were good deadline moves, and it didn't fix anything.
I know. Yeah, I thought the Pirates had like a top three deadline as
Yeah.
far as, especially as far as buyers go, and they had looked awful.
Yeah.
So
They're
they
now
have been butt cheeks
they're dead last in the NL Central by a half game, and it's
as of tonight. Shout outs. But yeah, so I figured today. Well, I mean, first things first, we got to talk about Joshua Baez. I mean, we were sitting here. We turned on the game because Brooks wanted to hate watch Cards Cubs, and the game was it was a one run game. We were thinking things were getting interesting, and we looked and we said, "Oh, Josh Baez already got a homer," and then he dumped one into the left center field seats, and then later we looked up again and he put one in the right center field seats. So I was stashing the guy just because he was tearing it up in the minor leagues, but now it seems like, I mean, we could have a serious. I mean, he's already done something historic. It's kind of nuts.
yeah,
Um,
you can't ask for a better start. I'm already waving the banner for him being the best Baez to ever touch a baseball bat.
but yeah, I don't know. I've got Zach Veen, I've got Sam Antonacci, these guys on my roster. I don't know who I'm gonna drop. Somebody good is going to be hitting the waiver wire
Yeah.
tomorrow because my catcher slot is currently empty. So we can't really be doing that. I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that Zach Veen gets sat, so I have an excuse to drop him. But yeah, all these prospect call-ups have been really interesting. If you're like, Davis, what the hell are you talking about? Go watch last week's episode and go learn something. So, but I think today we were going to talk more generally about sort of the state of MLB. We're still going to do some matchup recaps, but not all of the matchups have finished yet because it's Saturday.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be saying things about some people's teams that hasn't really finished yet. But we'll go over that, and then we'll do a waiver wire, our normal waiver wire stuff. But yeah, my sort of question generally about Brooks was like, what do you think is going to happen with the lockout? Maybe how does that affect fantasy? What is going on? Like, which generally we also decided we're going to talk about which teams like just are the most miserable.
Yeah.
Like, what team is the worst team to watch in MLB right now? I thought that would be a fun discussion. So that's kind of mostly what we're going to talk about today. I guess we could start before we get to the more existential threats to baseball. We can talk more about which fan bases are the most miserable. So I'm, of course, at number one, going to offer the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim
Yes,
as the most miserable franchise.
I
to
did
watch.
agree with that. Once you waste away the career of Mike Trout and then also never make the playoffs with Otani at
It's
on
impressive.
the same team, yeah, like I like to think half of our league on that roster, as long as Trout and Otani bat back to back, that's still a 50-win MLB team.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I remember this is like one of my all time favorite baseball tweets. It's like, yeah, the average Angels game goes like Mike Trout 2 for 5 with a 2-run home run and 3 RBIs, and Ohtani pitched 7 scoreless innings, and also hit 2 bombs. Angels lose 4-7. like that is like just perfectly sums up what goes on in Anaheim.
Yeah.
So, and also like nothing going on in the free agent market ever. They never sign anybody. They never trade anybody.
And I think the thing that makes them so miserable too, like I also take into account like just the general aura of the franchise, like the direction you're competing in a market with the Dodgers. Like you have LA, that's an attractive like free agent like place to live, like great weather. They have like a bottom 10 ballpark competing with like the juggernauts that are the Dodgers, and they've just given absolutely nothing. It's not like they're afraid to spend the money to win. They just don't know how to do it.
They have no process. There's no process for building a winning team. Artie Moreno cares more about branding, advertising Ohtani than he does about making a winning baseball team, which is just a big shame. So I think we could sort of figure out now, who am I going to float at number 2? Do you have a suggestion, Brooks, for number 2?
I quickly, back to the napkin math here, I put the New York Mets.
I don't hate that. No. I don't hate that.
And it's like it's the immediate snapshot where we are right now, and it's been a couple years in a row where they have had one of, like, you look up and they're spending top money in baseball every single year. Every year they get their fans so convinced, and they all turn into Frank the Tank, and they're just chewing on their necklace. And if you're a Mets fan, like, you're probably ugly too. Like, you gotta factor that
your
in.
Your team sucks, and you're chopped, and your buns at the game, and your girl left you.
And again, it's also like you have such an attractive free agent market. You share it with, you're like the little brother of that city with the Yankees, who, like, you know, they haven't done what they mean to do lately either. But you know, you've got the least amount of aura in a, but the difference between, I think, them and the Angels, and it's a shorter term suffering. Like, they've had some arguable success in the last decade.
Right.
But
to be fair, like, they've made a World Series in the past 20 years. Granted, the Angels have won a World Series in the last 20 years, but like, that was 2001. Who gives a shit?
the Mets have they get all the big free agents they want. They build the Death Star that they think they're building, and then like 20 games in, they're already like out of it. Like,
they're done. Like, by the end of April, the Mets are nothing.
Yes, I think I would just start seething as a fan, because it's a different type of suffering than some of the teams on the list.
It's so weird.
Because they get what they want, and it turns out to...
it's like, be careful what you wish for, team.
It's like when the dog that's been chasing the car, like, catches the car. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, they, like, face plant into the back of the car. So... and, like, you can't blame, like, Steve Cohen. Like, you know, it's easy to be a Pirates fan and be like, wow, I fucking hate Bob Nutting with all of my soul.
Yes.
He doesn't do anything.
Yes.
And it's like, you can't do that with Steve Cohen. Like, Steve Cohen is literally, like, putting his fucking fortune on the line for the Mets to suck. Like, I kind of feel bad for the guy.
Yes. So they ended up on my number 2 here.
Right. I think they're a great pick for number 2. I think my suggestion for number 3 would be the Marlins.
I had Marlins in my honorable mentions, and I think I was toying with them higher. And again, this is purely down to franchise aura. There's nothing.
There's just literally nothing.
Visited Miami last year, and I'm a big baseball fan, and there's so much else to do there. And
we were talking about this in the stadium.
You
just go to the club, bro.
Yes.
What are you doing at Lone Depot Park?
If you tell your buddy, like, even big baseball people, I'm going to Miami for 4 days, and you're like, I went to 2 Marlins games, they would, like, slap you upside the head. They're like,
I'm sorry, one Marlins game once is, like, fine.
Maybe just to check the ballpark off. But, like, unless the Dominican national team's playing there's nothing going on at Lone Depot Park.
Like, seriously. And, like, I mean, there is, like, negative aura in the history of the Marlins.
Yes. I mean, and you look at, they've had some people to root for. You look at, like, Stanton, and, you know, they've...
And Yelich.
Like,
Jose Fernandez, rest in peace.
It's sort of kind of what we'll talk about. I'm sure we'll get to the Pirates here soon, you know. Specifically pitching for them, but, you know, they've become, at least about a decade ago a farm system for other teams to just like
Poach. Just
yes.
absolutely
After the
poach.
starter contract's done, it's like, all right, this guy's proven himself a little bit at the major league level. We've got the real money. Thanks, Marlins. We'll take it from here.
Yeah, and I mean, just consistently being top in pitching development. Like,
And then they also had
very
all
good.
these weird like A-Rod ownership group was like
I forgot about that.
yes.
Like A-Rod fucking owns the team.
An all-time
It's
clip,
weird.
and maybe I'll show you later, is the Dan Lebitard show used to be on ESPN. It was kind of an unserious sports show at like 10 or 11 in the morning. And they were based out of Miami, and they sent a correspondent live to Miami's first game, like opening day, Lone Depot Park, whatever. And the first pitch of the Marlins season was a home run, and for the opponent. And I just remember the host screaming into the mic, and that concludes our Marlins coverage for the season. And
It's like you might as well have.
so,
I mean, just like they won a couple World Series, but also it's like, you know, if I asked anybody else in the league to name a player on a World Series winning Marlins team, like, could you do that, Brooks? I can name 2 players that were on the 2003 Marlins. That's it.
no, I don't think I've got that deep of a
Yeah,
bag.
like AJ Burnett and Hanley Ramirez. That's it. That's all I got. Like, even the teams that won, they had 6 jerseys. They had no aura. They had no guys.
No.
Like, neither of those guys are going to be Hall of Famers. And they made a World Series. So, like, I don't know. But since then, the Marlins have had a just awful reputation. But somewhere around 3 to 5, I think is
Yeah.
respect. Who was your pick for number 3?
This is recency bias. This is like super recent. It's the Orioles
I don't even hate that
because
much.
they sucked so hard for so long, tanking, purposely knowing what they're doing. They built what they thought was the team. They made a playoff push, and then now we're right back in square one. They
They're
just
like
sold
the bargain
everything.
bin Mets
Yes.
version of the Mets. Right?
Yes, I mean, you got to feel a little happy for them because they did have a season that had the playoff push they've been looking for. But then it was like, all right, let's do it again next year. This is a 5-year span where we're gonna be good.
And what was it? 2024.
Yeah,
I mean, it was
2 years ago.
It was kind of a miserable playoffs for them. They got bounced like instantly.
That was like
which is just like
that was
so
the start of like,
terrible.
hey, you don't just jump into the playoffs and win the whole thing. Sometimes you got to have some of those knocks. You got to have some playoff experience, some something to work towards, and some experience there. And they thought that was the building block. And then last year was so miserable, and then this year there was like a little bit of like maybe we can recapture that.
No.
And then you blow it up. You trade Rutschman. You just like
And also, the front office just seems to have no direction in Baltimore. They're not like they got a good young hitting core, and then instead of getting pitching, they buy more hitters.
Yeah.
Like they buy Taylor Ward for seemingly no reason. Like they needed an outfielder, but like that bad more than a pitcher.
Yeah, but when you think offense, you're not talking about the Orioles either. Like they didn't successfully build that machine that they've been trying to build either.
No.
Like, so and I think the reason they fall up here not as much just the sustained misery, but it was the hope they gave.
Right.
And like you're back there, and it's another 3 or 4 years. Like all the Orioles fans remember their rebuild process,
Right.
and you're back. You're step 1 again. Like you're
You sold.
Yes.
You still have no pitching, and like the prospects are here and they're bad.
Yes.
Like they've had like Heston Kjerstad, Colby Mayo, like fine. Like,
Holiday didn't work out.
Holiday
Like-
is sucking. Like it's just a bad look. So I think, yeah, that's kind of an underrated pick for like a top 4 team. Now I think the Pirates have to be top 5 here.
I put them honorable mention. I think it's because, like,
you just can't do it.
I think they're in the same position as the Reds, but I just look down upon them because they shouldn't have the expectations the Reds have. Like they just sit there, and I guess it's miserable, but you've got a great ballpark. There's a couple.
They're kind of like Rockies coded in that
Yes,
way.
it's like they're gonna suck. Everyone goes to the games anyway. You have a good time. Their owner is an awful owner who doesn't want to spend money. He's like the sole person you point to as like a reason for the salary floor to like exist.
I feel like in any order, 5 through 7 is Rockies, Reds, Pirates. Like I feel like in any order.
That's what I had as
Yeah.
well.
Like franchises that just overall the org has no idea what they're doing,
Yes.
and they kind of suck, and like it's fun to go to games, and that's the best you can say about it.
Yes,
like
and the Pirates are in that category. They still talk about the 2013 wild card game, which they beat Johnny Cueto. Like that's whatever. We're not mad about that.
Like decade ago plus, by the way.
13
guys.
years, yeah. It's
like, come on.
Now the ballpark's great. We were just there. Like I mentioned a couple times, I'm like, just imagine playoff baseball in this building. Like it would be
beautiful.
Unreal. That it's a good sports town. People are.
The Pittsburgh fans are very passionate.
Yes, they have the Steelers,
They're
they have the Penguins.
passionate.
They expect to win. The Pirates, prior to '79, like 5 World Series. That's not nothing.
They are a historic franchise.
Yes.
You can't argue against that, but that's history,
but
not
now,
reality.
Now you walk down the street to anybody in
today.
Pittsburgh, and you bring up the Pirates, and it's just kind of, it's almost a joke. It's an eye roll. It's like, well, they're not serious about winning. We just the ballpark food is good. Like that's kind of
which it is. I got like a pierogi, a loaded pierogi with pulled pork, and like I was like an IC tall boy, and which is the Pittsburgh beer. It was fucking beautiful. It was awesome. It was great, and the ballpark was beautiful. I was having an awesome time.
And then they don't score.
And then the Pirates sucked.
Yes.
But I enjoyed the stadium. It was gorgeous, and the food was great.
I just think like the Pirate, like Brian Reynolds. I hit Davis with the stat today, is the longest tenured MLB player to never make a playoffs, and that's what playing for the Pirates for the better part of a decade does to you.
Exactly. Like I don't know, that man comes to work with a half-worn smile on his face every day.
Yes. So I guess we can talk about the other name you threw out, the Rockies. Like again, great ballpark. You're gonna go. You're gonna watch the biggest fucking outfield. You're gonna watch home runs. You're like the altitude and all that.
Right, it's an experience.
Yes.
Right, even if like the team's gonna suck. Cheapest beer in MLB. like actually, like it's like $5.30 for a beer for Coors there.
And the toughest part there is the altitude. I think it's great. I think it's overblown, and I think it scares pitchers away. And I think they should do everything in their right mind to like dispel the rumors of the altitude.
Yeah, see, I totally disagree. I have the opposite opinion.
Okay.
That all they should do is buy hitting and have no pitching. Like that's what they should do.
They're kind of doing that without the hitting part right now.
in fact they are. And I mean they did that, and it did like 2008 Rocktober was hype. They had no pitching, and they had a couple Hall of Fame hitters. They made it to World Series.
Yeah.
You can't say that about a couple teams. So I feel like they should go back to that strategy, but it's very clear that their front office has no strategy. They are in fact doing nothing. Wasting Kyle Freeland's career. I mean, he's not Mike Trout, but he's a good pitcher. He should be somewhere else, in my opinion. And yeah, I don't know.
I think all the pitchers are afraid to go there because you just, your breaking stuff doesn't break how it's supposed to, and the altitude makes the ball go far, and all of a sudden you've got a 6 ERA, and your career's like
your career's
washed.
bad. Like you're going to re-sign with the Rockies.
Yes,
that's enjoy your career forever.
Or you can go play for the El Paso Chihuahuas for somebody else.
And that's why the Orioles pitching sucked for so long too.
Yeah.
Well, it's because their left field fence was like tiny. It was like 313 or something down the line, and then like it was like 340 in left center. It's like, how is any like left-handed pitcher who gets mashed by righties, like how is they going to ever have fun? Like they're just not going to. So like it drove pitchers away, and they pushed the fence back, and they've got some pitching. I don't know. Maybe it has enough, but.
And then the last team I had on the list, I don't know. You can think of any more honorable mentions we ought to talk about. Like, I thought about putting the A's in there, but like, you're just kind of in purgatory right now. But you're getting a new stadium in Vegas. You're getting all the influx of money and fans that come with that, and I feel like that's a breath of fresh air that is coming, no matter what is happening right now.
Now, I feel like I can give some perspective, and the reason is that we brought up the Thrashers. I did not follow the Thrashers to Winnipeg. And maybe that's just because I think eventually Atlanta might get another hockey team. But, like, it sucks if you lived in Oakland and you were an A's fan.
Yeah.
Like, that's just that's too bad. You had two sports franchises get stolen by the same city.
And sort of the Warriors as well moved out of Oakland to San Fran, to San Fran proper. Like you just got, everything stolen.
Your city just sucks. Like it's bad.
And I mean that's why they left. But
to be fair, I do think that there's a new contingent of excited fans in Los Angeles, for sure. Like, I mean, there's like people who live there now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not just it's not just casinos anymore.
Yeah.
So
no, I mean I'm excited. Like I'm at that stage where I'll be going to Vegas here, and I'm gonna hit an A's game. Like that's just another Vegas sideshow, and it's gonna be indoors, so you're not get out of the heat, and you're gonna watch some hopefully decent baseball.
Right, they're gonna have to have a dome. Yeah,
I think it is. I've seen the renderings. It looks sick. Like it.
Yeah, would you want to do for those who don't know? Brooks is like an HVAC design engineer. Does a lot of building work and a lot of blueprint looking stuff.
Yeah.
Saw his office, but would you want to do the A's that work on the A's stadium? Like,
yeah,
that would be sick.
That'd be awesome. No, so I thought about them. Do you think about anybody else for this list before I just get on my soapbox about the Reds?
Yeah, I was gonna say like the Reds might be the last team that I really think is just it's funny because like I wouldn't even a year ago I don't think I would have included the White Sox on this list. Maybe the Twins. Like the AL Central teams, even though they're all ass, I don't actually think that they're that bad to root for.
I think it's because they're all ass. If one of them was like actually popping off right now, I think I would have 4 AL Central teams on the list. Like, all right, sneaky pick, Tigers. You just unloaded Scooble. Like you kind of thought you were building to something.
And like you signed Baez to this massive contract a few years ago, and he's terrible.
He sucks,
and like Framber Valdez is now ass. They can go up there. Scooble's gone. But at least you have like a nice young core of guys who like maybe they're not aces.
Yeah.
But they're gonna be great pitchers like Reese Olson. Hopefully when he's healthy, Jackson Jobe, Troy Melton. Like these are guys who are all 25 or younger who are looking like they're gonna be MLB caliber arms. So like that's. Like, I don't think they're in a horribly miserable spot right now, but I feel like overall, not an amazing franchise for sure. Not one that I would want to be a fan of.
And I mean, most, if you're a Tigers fan my age, you do remember glory days. Like, you still had some fun. Like, it's not been all misery.
You have a few playoff appearances with JV, good old prime JV.
Yeah. You got a World Series in there with Miggy and the Prince Fielder and the gang. So I briefly thought about them, but I didn't think they fell in the same category as any of the other teams we talked about.
And the Twins are like the same bold, broken machine every year. And they won some in the 90s. But the thing is like that division is all open. Like I can't hate on them. It's like one of you guys just needs to do something.
Yes.
Right now. Like nobody wants to do it.
I mean, the Royals are kind of in like a limbo spot too, where it's just
or like they're like Orioles minus, where it's like you guys sort of had all the pieces and like the puzzle hasn't been put together.
Yes.
Like now you're like lighting pieces on fire.
Yes, you're losing pieces to the puzzle that you had ready to build. Like, So and we'll unload. I'll unload on the Reds quick because they just made the playoffs last year. You've still got what I consider to be like you got Chase Burns, you got De La Cruz. You come in, you sign Chino Suarez back to a 1 year for what I thought was a pretty team-friendly deal.
Mm-hmm.
You've got, heading to spring training, Hunter Green's fully healthy. You've got Nick Lodolo. You've got
Andrew Abbott.
Andrew Abbott's coming off an all-star performance or year, and then there's a little bit of hype around Sal Stewart. We didn't know that he would be NL Rookie of the Year, and that is what he is. JJ Weatherholt can suck my cock from the back. But, and then all of a sudden, spring training, all of a sudden Hunter Green is out for 2.5 months, and Nick Lodolo is fighting blisters, and Emilio Pagan 2 months later, destroys his hamstring, and you just kind of start losing piece by piece, and then you've got some questionable lineups, batting people who are hitting 130 in the leadoff spot, and you just
don't get me started on Terry, bro. Back it up, Terry. Back it up.
You just
reverse, Terry.
You just injuries and again a few decisions like took you out of play early, and then that's fine and all. Then you should sell at the deadline. Like it's
that is like the most confounding.
it's so straightforward, and then instead you're selling like legit players for $250,000 in cash. Like or a single A, like a high A player who's like struggling.
It's like for a salary dump. Like what?
Yeah,
Nate Lowe.
They're just
miserable, man.
They're gonna buy a couple printers for the front office with that. Like they're not gonna do anything. And then I look at the roster and I'm like, if you were serious about dumping a little bit and then building up around 2 or 3 more years of team control for De La Cruz. And the Sal Stewart rookie contract, because that duo has been like the only positive besides Chase Burns.
Mm-hmm.
And you look on the roster, Spencer Steer's still there, Tyler Stevenson's still there.
It's like the same guys from 4 years ago, basically.
Yes, you could have these were great chances to unload productive players, but you don't build around a B+ catcher.
No. He's been here for I don't know how long.
Like 5 or 6 years he's been doing this, and then. You look up at Brady Singer, was a popular name at the deadline. He's still here.
If you guys could have gotten anything back for him, I would have said
yes.
Anything.
So I
don't care if it's a bag of potato chips. Sell him.
So the 5 Reds playoff games I remember in my time as a fan, and I slightly remember the Cueto game in 2013 where they lost to the Pirates. The 2 games COVID year where they got swept by the Braves without scoring a run.
Shout outs to the Braves.
The Max Fried welcoming party. That was his. And then the 2 games against the world power Dodgers last year that we never had a chance.
Yeah, that was the most foregone conclusion I've seen in baseball in a long time.
I don't recall a Reds playoff win. They've got 4 since 2000. Yeah. It's the worst in baseball. So they're miserable. They've got all the talent. I'm listing guys who could play legit star roles for most rosters soon or now, and it's just not. They're just not building what you think they should build. And then the new farm system rankings came out this week, and they're 29th, and there's not even anything.
Why
coming.
Didn't we sell at the deadline?
Yes.
Our
first overall pick last year is now the 30th best prospect in the farm system. Right. Things are just not materializing, and the way to fix that would have been unloading the deadline, which I thought they had the worst deadline of anybody. But
it was not a question. I think they absolutely did. But I think we're going to switch gears here, and I'm going to ask you about playing in the league this year, because you were a new invite. We don't do typical scoring. We have an odd number of people. I was just kind of, how has your experience been as the league manager? What would you change? Is there anything that's sort of maybe you don't like, maybe you would rather this? Because I'm thinking about adding some changes. We can talk about that later. And by the way, if you're listening on youtube.com, please comment. Please, if you have any thoughts on the change, yes. Thank you. And hit that like button and subscribe, bitch.
Smash that like button.
Smash it. But go on. I'll just sort of let you talk. You got unlucky in the draft a little bit this year. I feel like you would be a little bit more into it if you hadn't drafted a bunch of Mariners.
Correct. Yeah, the Mariners was bad, especially Raleigh. That's on me. I think part of my problems this year have been playing in 3 leagues, 2 of which I care about less.
Right.
But I feel like there's too many. I'm probably going to try to leave at least one of those next year to you asked me a question about who's on my team, and I'm getting my 3 teams confused, and I'm making less moves because I'm too busy setting lineups in other leagues.
Right.
So, and we got the injury bug. I didn't play around that too well, but yeah, the Mariners off the bat was tough. No, and it's something I look forward to diving in a little more. I've seen kind of the seriousness that some of the top teams are taking with the league, which is not what has been happening in the previous leagues I've played in.
Yeah.
So, don't love the bye week. If we could get an even number of teams in there somehow, that would be, I think, an upgrade.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sort of taking advantage of mine right now. Mine just happens to fall on a week where it's yeah, just destroy your roster, stash some prospects, see what happens, and like, of course, Baez hit 3 home runs today, so hopefully he'll be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. The bye week is definitely not something I wanted to do, but like, for context, Will and Kyle had separate teams last year, and it was just like dead player space. Like, they didn't really pay attention. And shout out Will if you're listening to this, which I traded you two guys a couple weeks ago at the deadline, and they've gotten a collective 0 points for you because they haven't started. So maybe do something about that, Will, if you're listening to this. But I forgot. But we put them on the same team last year because I didn't want to have that many dead players in the player pool, which, like, okay, like, there's also an ethical thing. Like, all right, all I do is, like, I'm listening to fantasy baseball content all the time. I'm doing lots of research. I'm spending hours, like, planning my draft. Like, is it really even possible for me to construct a trade that is, like, fair to a guy who literally has not paid attention and like, can't name a player on his team? So, like, balancing that has been, like, sort of a challenge for me. But yeah, so that's why they were on the same team, to sort of consolidate that, and maybe we were like, maybe we can get them to work together. But the downside was that, okay, well, now we have 13 teams. We had a couple people in it 2 years ago, in 2025, who quit. And Colby played like 2 years ago, and he just didn't do anything, which was fine. It wasn't expected. He was not a baseball guy. We sort of forced him to do it. So I was glad I could dig up some people like you and Gray who could make the league deeper and still participate in a meaningful way. So I was happy to have that. But yeah, so some things I've thought about doing with the league. First of all, I've heard a lot of discussion of keepers. So do you play in any leagues with keepers in Dynasty, in fantasy football? I know it's not the same.
Yeah.
But do you play in any of those leagues, and sort of what is it like? Because I've never played in a league like that.
Yeah, and not in baseball. I'm in year 3 of a Dynasty NFL team, and that's interesting. It's definitely eye opening too. The way it works is year 1 you draft a full team of existing players, and then every subsequent year you're drafting. Football's a little different because you have like a very clear draft. There's no like farm system. Like those guys are on the roster, but you draft 3 rounds of upcoming college prospects, and then you're dropping vets, and you've got, after year 3, now we're kind of in the stage where you've kind of made your bed. You might have people retiring or injured. Like you've got a real team now. So I that feels the most like real team ownership. Like that. Yeah. That's very neat. You're trading draft picks. You're trading, and that's kind of a fun aspect to it. I think. I don't know how exactly that works with baseball, but
a part of my goal as like league manager was to like model baseball as closely as possible. Like I was trying to model on-field value as closely as possible in the points format. Now, which I'll get into the Roto League later, but playing the Roto League, by the way, next year, guys. So like I was thinking, okay, well maybe I should be modeling what it's like to manage a baseball team too. Yeah. And like obviously, Dynasty's really intensive. That's for people who are sickos, especially in baseball. In baseball especially, like in other sports, like you said, like they get drafted, they're on the roster. In football, in hockey, like it's a little less sure than baseball, but like you draft Macklin Celebrini, he's probably going to be in your roster the next year.
Yes.
Which he is. He is the Sharks' best player. So in baseball, it's not like that at all, unless you get a unicorn like Paul Skeens.
And so it still took a half year to get up.
Exactly. He still took until June to reach the roster, which, like, I'm waiting for Kid Anderson to make a start now, and Jerry DiPoto said he would, and now he hasn't, but we'll worry about that when we get there. But, yeah. So, like, Dynasty is, like, normal baseball, except, like, the gambling is, like, times 10. Like, you have, like, 10 times a chance to, like, draft a Cal Raleigh. It's, like, and he's just done. Like, he's like, useless. Like, you could pick Leo DeVries, and who knows, he shatters his femur tomorrow and is done, like, out of affiliated baseball forever. Like, that's possible. So, like, I don't think a Dynasty format is really what I want to go for. I was thinking multiple year keeper leagues. And so how this works is you get to draft somebody and you get to keep him, but you just keep him in the round you drafted him, right?
Okay.
So like instead of your draft pick being whoever's on the board, it's this guy that you're keeping. So like for example, if we started this league like this year and you got to keep a couple players, you would be able, like Matthew would be able to keep Ben Rice in the 5th round and Kurtz in the 4th.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's great, you know.
Great value. Yeah.
You know, and especially at that top level. Now, some leagues do it a little bit different where, okay, every year the round you draft a player and one of your keepers and it goes up. So it's like, okay, next year it would be Kurtz in the 3rd, Rice in the on the 4.
Okay.
In the 4th round. And so like that makes things more interesting because then you're like, okay, I drafted Kevin McGonigal like I don't know 5th over like in the 5th round last year, and now I've had him for 2 years, and he's still an awesome player, but like he's not a second round value.
Yeah, he's not a second or third round player.
So like things get really interesting. You know, there are guys like when you make a hit. Like I would be like if I got to keep Sal Stewart this year, I drafted him like the 16th round. Like he would literally be on my team for like the next 5 years or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is sick. Which is great. You made a great call. You get rewarded for it. So I think something. Excuse me. I think something like that would be really productive. Do you have any thoughts on that? Like sort of keeper value where value increases. You've got some plasticity.
That's kind of nice. I mean, that encourages you. Like you don't keep Aaron Judge for 12 years that way. Like maybe Aaron Judge is a bad example, but like you wouldn't just keep somebody for 12 years and never have that person ever on the market. I've never heard of that system. I do like that.
Yeah, that's usually.
And you'd get 2 keeps in that scenario.
Yeah, so like I don't know. I was playing around with how many keepers to do. Also, like I don't even know if I could do this on ESPN, but like if you could keep 1 hitter, 1 pitcher, like that would be neat. Or maybe you keep 2 of each, like 2 hitters, 2 pitchers. But like also our rosters that we run with in this league are very deep. They're like true 26-man rosters. You got 6 bench slots, like 5 starting pitchers, 3 relievers, 6 IL slots. I mean, this league goes really deep, and not to mention that we're playing with 13 people. The one thing that makes the league less deep is that we don't have like roto lineups, which is like you have a middle infield, a corner infield slot, and 5 outfielder slots. Like that's like if you play in a 15-team roto league, you are drafting like 70% of the usable players for that year. You have to be kind of crazy. But where was I going? Oh yeah, the number of keepers. So yeah, I think like 3, maybe 3 keepers is right.
Like a batter, a pitcher, and maybe a flex. Like you can do
batter,
either.
pitcher, flex, and then I was thinking maybe a minor league slot. You get
minor league slot could be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, so like it's just a slot. You just put a minor leaguer in there. Doesn't matter who he is. You don't have to stash him. Doesn't cost a roster spot. It's just an extra slot for a minor leaguer for you to take a lottery ticket on, and maybe you keep him in the 20 whatever 5th round.
Sure.
So like that was sort of the idea. Now, I think now is when I'm going to talk about sort of the Roto League. So, Matt or Brooks, you've got a buddy named Nate.
Yeah.
He's huge into fantasy baseball too. We might have him in our league next year if we want to have another 14th person.
I think he'd be down.
And maybe, but I was going to start. So Matthew and I went out and we played in a CBS league this year. We were looking for something a little bit different, maybe more competitive. It's not. That's not at all. We are murdering everybody in the league, and so like I was just thinking, okay, well, let me make a league that is insanely deep, tons of lineup spots, but but it's just people that I know, right? And it's just like the most hardcore guys I know will put a little money down to make it interesting. And what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to make it NL only, because I think I'm only going to be able to get like 8 dudes I think are really going to like fuck with this.
Yeah.
So like the basic idea of this is, right, instead of playing in like online 15-team high stakes whatever bullshit, like I'm not really interested in doing that. I don't know the people. We each put like $20 down, and I would love to do an auction draft. Like I don't know if you know what that is, Kyle.
I'm assuming player just goes to the highest bidder.
Yeah, that's basically
simple
it.
as.
It's that simple, but like the strategy is totally different, right? Because you don't snake in that. Like you just the guys you want, but also the order that a guy gets put up in is interesting, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't do it in the order of their value. It's just you decide somehow who gets to pick the first guy to go up for auction, and that's how you do it. So there's like some strategy there, but I would love to bid on guys. But the problem with those things is they just take forever. Like it just takes.
We're all gonna bid on every player. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a day. Like,
especially if we're going to fill up like a massive roster. There's just no way that's gonna happen.
No.
There's just no way I'm gonna get that to happen.
unless you could do it, maybe this way to do it like silent auction style, where you just fill out a form of like what your highest dollar on every player would be. I don't know.
That would be interesting.
I haven't thought about that.
That's
one.
like an exam. Like you're taking a fantasy baseball
Yeah, you
exam.
just fill out a little
Like,
little captcha quiz or whatever.
I mean, I'd love to do that. That's an interesting idea. I haven't thought about that. Do a silent auction for all the players. Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, I could think about that. Yeah, I'll have everybody make a spreadsheet and then we'll divvy it up. But yeah, so like the rosters are going to be deeper. Our benches will probably be smaller. Like the amount of players in the player pool will probably be similar to what's in our points league right now.
Yeah.
But because it's only going to be one league, and because we have more active slots, like we have a lot of non-active slots. We have a lot of IL slots, and we have a lot of bench slots. Roto leagues have a lot of active slots because some leagues run 2 catchers. I think that's torture.
Yeah.
Don't ever why ever play in the league with 2 catchers? That just seems unfun. But 2 catchers, so and instead, like you've got your first, second, third, shortstop first. You've got all those, and then you've got a middle infield slot, which is a shortstop or second base eligible player, and then you've got a corner infield slot. So you've got third base or first base. And then you've got 2 additional outfield slots. So you've got a 4th and a 5th outfielder to field. I don't even know if I want to have that many outfield slots. I was thinking we would probably do 4.
4.
Because 5 is tough, especially because outfield sucks.
Yeah.
Outfield is a tough slot to fill right now. Maybe next spring training we're not saying that, but I don't know. And so that's basically how the rosters would be structured. But I would make probably everybody put in $10 for just an upfront fee, because I think I'm going to have to pay to make another league. As for, like ESPN's going to charge me, so I'm probably going to divide however many people we have by that, and then that will be everybody's entry fee, and then I will probably pay out half of it, and then whatever we'll probably times 2 that for the free agent budget. It's like I want it to be $20, like that's ideal. I don't know if it's actually going to be that. But then you'll have $10 to spend on free agents. So how free agency works in our league right now is you just pick up whoever you want. Unless they were dropped, and then which you'll have to go through the waiver wire, they're just free. But how this works is there's a waiver period. So instead of it being daily changes, it's weekly. So on Saturday and Sunday, you set your lineup for the following week, like football, and then you just have to watch your guys in a slot, and if they get hurt, oh well, you can't change it. Maybe I'll make it so that on Friday you can change that.
Yeah.
But then on Sunday, what will happen is there will be roster changes, so you will be able to pick up, add, drop, whoever guys, and they're going to cost money. You're going to have to bid like a certain amount of money on a guy, and if a player is eligible, right, it'll like you won't be able to bid on minor league guys, probably. Okay. So maybe we'll have a minor league slot, but like the second they come to the majors, okay, it's time to bid on this guy.
Yeah.
Like, okay, who's going to be willing to put down money for Leo DeVries when he comes up next year or whatever?
Yeah.
And I think that would be a really fun experience. But yeah, I mean that's basically. Oh, I forgot the main difference between what a Roto League even is so instead of there being weekly head-to-head matchups, we play for categories. So each team is ranked in a certain category, and there's usually 10 of them. There's usually 5 batter and 5 pitcher categories, and you get 12 points for being. If it's a 12-team league, you get 12 points for being first. You get 0 points for being last in that category at the end of the year, and so whoever has the most points at the end of the year wins. That's it. You don't play any weeks. You don't play any head-to-head matchups. It's just straight baseball the whole year. And
categories such as hits, home runs, RBIs, or what are we talking?
Yeah. So, well, what I would probably do is I'd ask everybody what they want to play in.
Yeah.
But the standard categories are runs, RBIs, batting average, home runs, stolen bases for batters, ERA, wins, whip, saves, strikeouts for pitchers. Those are the 10 standard categories. Obviously, stuff like wins. Like, I don't really want to play in a league with wins. That's not great. That doesn't model on-field value particularly well.
Especially if it's like weekly based. Like, what are you gonna do? 2-0 in the week? Like,
Yeah, well, this is the thing: is it won't be weekly based.
Okay.
It'll be for the whole season, right? So whoever has the most wins at the end of
Gotcha.
the season, you just get that. So it's not like that bad.
yeah.
You can play weekly head-to-head categories, and I think that is the worst. that is absolutely the worst type of fantasy baseball you could play. Because like you said, I got 4 saves this week. I win. Like I just won the matchup because of that.
Monthly categories.
Monthly categories. I've never heard of any of that. I would love. Maybe we would do that.
We're just cooking.
Well, that's the thing is like Ryan has gotten like so unlucky with his matchups. Like if the bot thinks that he's the best team, like Sam's bot thinks he has the best team, even better than Matthews. But and like his record should be like 15-3, and he's like actually like 11 and like 5 or something right now. So, like, I'm trying to sort of assuage the luck week-to-week factor of baseball, because baseball is just like that, you know? It's not like football. Which, by the way, I'm kind of sort of curious. Like, I don't watch that much football. Like, how much do you feel like, how often does the best team win? You know? Because, like, in baseball, it doesn't feel like that all the time, you know?
Yeah.
Anybody can win a playoff series. Whereas, like, I don't hear that being said about football. I'm just sort of curious. A little side tangent here.
I think football, like, it's inherently so physical that like the better team is usually the bigger, stronger. Like,
right.
And so usually you push your guy out of the way, and that like is directly linked to success. There's not a whole lot of like statistical variability with that. Like you just are bigger, stronger.
You're gonna
and
beat
you
the
move
other guy up.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's more often. I think even more so, definitely more so than like baseball and hockey, but even more so than basketball. Like the better team more often wins in football. The team that plays better, like it's very rare that you play better and then you lose. Like that just doesn't happen quite as much. Sometimes it happens in basketball because you just miss shots. Same thing as like swinging the baseball bat, and maybe some days you just don't have it as a pitcher. Like that happens in baseball. You know, the best pitcher in the world can go out there and throw a couple meatballs.
Right. Shout out opening day for Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
Like,
that was an O'Neal Cruz special, but
yeah, exactly.
he had two errors in that first inning, not called errors. But yeah, I'd say baseball it's definitely like statistically more variable in terms of outcome versus expected outcome. Like that's not
right. That makes a whole lot of sense. Well, let's go ahead and I'm going to do some waiver wire stuff here. Display capture. Oh, right. I have to minimize this. Ding. So we are going to take a look at the ESPN waiver wire. So now there's been a bunch of prospects that have been called up. I guess first let's take a look at the matchups here before we get into the waiver wire stuff. So where's standings? Scoreboard. Here we go. So I haven't really even looked at this, but okay, Chris is winning his matchup. I might do a second follow-up podcast, but I'm basically going to look here. Like, this is the matchup that matters, right? All in your division, Brooks. The battle for the first, second, and third slots is important. So, I know this is Saturday. We're recording this Saturday night. So, like, the matchup isn't over. But Sam has, like, 4 billion starting pitchers tomorrow, I think. I'm sorry, Julie, but I don't have a ton of faith in that. He's down a good bit to see having starters tomorrow. A couple. I don't know. I don't have a lot of hope for Cody Bradford. Maybe against the Athletics he throws a no-hitter. You never know. But yeah, not loving that. Brian is now still losing to Matthew. He was up early in the week. Wow, Mackenzie Gore, 30 points. Unbelievable, this guy. He had 2 starts this week? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Nuts. Moreno. I will always regret picking him up. Wisniewski got 18. Caminero. I mean, these are the guys. Burleson had a homer today. Shout out Sonny Gray.
Yeah, that one hurt.
Yeah.
That one hurt. I
Yeah.
was not going to win regardless.
Ouch. Dude, I mean, Detmer's got 53 points. That's unreal. I'm rostering him on my 8 team. Shout out. That's sick. But hey, look at that. Look who's there. I'll see our favorite guy.
And our rookie of the year.
We love him. And there's another Reds rookie, Mr. Chase Burns. I guess does he not have eligibility because he played too much last year?
As a rookie, yeah, I think he came in too early last year.
Okay, that's what I thought.
He did start the Bristol Motor Speedway game.
Right, yeah. Fair enough.
4 outs.
Right. Alright, let's see what we got here. Guys that are hurt. Tulsa Montgomery. It's good. I don't know. I'm not super enthused by any of these names. Alec Boe now has first base eligibility because of what the Phillies are up to. Silly defensive nonsense going on in Philadelphia. AJ Ewing, I mean, I don't know. He strikes out a little too much to be useful in our league. Jake Berger. Keibert Ruiz is doing some things. Catcher. Angel Martinez again. I don't know. Is he even like playing right now? Cleveland? Yeah. He's not quite. That's annoying. Not quite. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much all the dudes that I've shouted out in the past. Abimelech Ortiz. This guy, man. Freaking fragging weird. Did he get called up? Yeah. I don't know. I've heard this guy's name before. Maybe he's good for something. First base, outfield, DH. If you need an outfielder, maybe consider picking him up. But let's take a look at that pitching. We can go ahead and look ahead towards next week's schedule. Brooke, can you look and see when Sunday next week is? What date that is?
Sure.
Merrill Kelly at
Sunday
Boston.
next week is the 23rd.
Okay, so there we go. Merrill Kelly's got a 2-step against Cincinnati and Boston. I would stream him against Cincinnati. I don't know how you feel about them your lineup beating up on Merrill Kelly, but
If the Reds win games, it's with pitching. It's not going to be with blowing up any pitchers here.
I probably wouldn't do this Shane Bieber at Toronto or at Tampa Bay unless I was desperate. Same with Randy Vasquez in Minnesota. I wouldn't touch him.
Probably wouldn't roster a Hunter Green made of glass.
He is done. Totally cooked. Buehler at the Mets tomorrow. I mean, Julie, if you're listening, you should probably take a shot on him. ATL, don't do that. Plus, he also pitches against Minnesota next Sunday, so maybe he's worth keeping. Liberatore at Cincinnati, yeah, you can do that. I mean, Dobnak home against the Athletics. Maybe I've a Rockies pitcher even against the Athletics. I don't think I would touch that.
Gross game.
Yeah. Sugano against Cleveland. I mean, I don't know. Cleveland's not the worst now. They got DeLauder and they got J-Ran backs. They're not god-awful like they were early in the season. But Chris Bassett against New York. I would do that. The Yankees still suck. 25th best offense in the league, by the way. San Diego, Connor Prelip. I mean, that's fine, probably. Red Ladder at Arizona is probably meh. I wouldn't do him against St. Louis, though.
Please don't. If you're not
I would not do him against St. Louis. Yeah, the rest of these are not great. Mitch Bratt, I mean, feel free to just take random shots against the Reds, but like no guarantees on that. Christian Javier against the Athletics on Sunday. I wouldn't hate doing that one. Yeah, none of these starts.
Ignore those.
Maybe Andrew Alvarez against Texas, but they've got Seager and Langford back. I don't know.
Kyle Freeland and Coors against the Dodgers. You don't feel too good about
that? No, I'm not feeling too good about that one. Hey, I feel good about recommending him.
Kyle Freeland in general, good. That start, maybe not.
Yeah, I feel great about recommending him at San Francisco last week, and then he did great. So, but yeah, don't touch that start. It's like going to be one of the worst starts next week, probably. Yeah, I'd take Jack Perkins at KC, maybe at Houston if I'm desperate, but definitely this KC start. I feel like this is a good one. I mean, I hate Jake Irvin. I just gotta show his Savant page because I know it's god awful looking. Yeah. I mean, this explains why he can get away with a 92-mile average fastball velo. It used to be lower. It used to be like 90. So I guess he's throwing harder this year, but yeah, I wouldn't really go near him. Maybe that extension explains some of the him being assness, but still getting good results that I see. Maybe I'm sleeping on Jake Irvin. Who knows? But I'm not going to go near him, even at Miami. You guys can feel free. Yeah, no, not Gabriel Hughes. Who even is this? Never heard of that person. Yeah, I'm not touching. Maybe no. I thought about it for a second. Not doing Cal Quantrill at home against the Angels. I like these starts. Adrian Hauser and Wisenhunt at Cleveland. I'll take it. That's doable. I don't love either of those guys, but not the worst thing ever. Yeah, I don't feel like talking about whoever the hell Mason Barnett is. So I think we are going to sort of wrap up there. Brooks, again, thanks for having me here in Pittsburgh. It's been a wonderful weekend. Yeah. Anything you wanted to sort of close on here before we wrap it all up?
No, I have to. Sal Stewart, Rookie of the Year.
Shout outs.
That's what really matters more than the playoffs, more than anything. So
that Rookie of the Year, bringing home that hardware,
yes,
for real, like the real hardware.
Yes, it worked out so well for Jonathan India's career. So
may he rest in peace.
And the only other thing is, I do hope we're playing baseball.
Oh God!
Next April.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be nice. We thought about touching about it. It seemed maybe a little doom and gloom to really peel it back.
Yeah, but baseball probably won't happen next year. I don't know. I was thinking, I guess baseball won't happen next year. That's all I gotta say about that. In your thoughts and prayers, people, pray for baseball. Well, thank you. This has been, I think, a rather long episode. No, we got a perfectly 1 hour.
That's great.
That's beautiful.
Well done, experts.
Well, great job. Great job, us. We will talk to you guys later, and good luck, especially to you all in the East.